Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to 8-Bit Culture. This is my 1 credit clear, my 1cc run of DoDonPachi, which I just recently accomplished. I got the screen capture of this, and like an idiot, I recorded it without any audio. So, I kind of took that as an excuse to record some commentary for it. I guess we'll see how that goes. Now, this is a pretty big accomplishment for me. I've been into shooting games or shmups or whatever you want to call them. I just call them shooters or shooting games. I've been into these sort of games for a really long time now. And I've been playing this game for well over a decade. It's by far my all-time favorite shooting game. And I've really been trying for this 1 credit run for a really long time. I've been playing this game off and on for years and years and years, and just never really buckled down to get this 1 credit run. So this is a pretty big deal for me. This is first loop only. Haven't started getting crazy yet. Haven't started trying for the second loop yet. I don't have too much to say about this first stage. It's pretty simple by most standards. So I'm just kind of giving a little bit of insight on my kind of experiences with this game. Now this first boss, even though I'm not playing for score, I always kind of try to go for destroying these 2 floating turrets, getting all these bonus stars. There we go. When I can. Sometimes it gets me killed because I'm trying a little too hard, but I managed to do it this time. I'm playing CL in this run, the Type C ship, laser oriented, laser specialized, however you want to say it. Stage 2 is a really fun stage. I really like this stage. When I was first starting out, there were some parts in it that got really frustrating for me. I wasn't too good at the game yet, and this level would always trip me up because I'd get killed a lot in this level, and it would frustrate me because I just felt like it was too early in the game to be losing lives. The mini-boss, especially in this level, used to give me a lot of trouble, but actually now I find it to be a pretty fun boss fight. I'll get to it pretty soon here in a second. Now you'll notice I am going for the Bs, even though I'm not really playing for score, and I'm not really trying to make it into the second loop. That might be a run that comes later. Going for the Bs. Again, sometimes my hubris gets me killed. But the first and second stage, at least, I have pretty down at this point. I can usually get all the Bs on these first 2 stages. Sometimes in stage 3 also. After that, it's kind of just me trying my best. But yeah, that mini-boss I just fought used to really give me a lot of trouble, but now it's actually quite a bit of fun, I would say. Yeah, grab that last B. I got all of them here. You'll notice I'm really not going for combos. I'm really not too good at the comboing system in this game. So far, I'm really not a huge fan of it. I don't know, I feel like it's a little too restrictive. The more I play, that might change though. Once again, I usually go for the bonus stars here on the second boss, destroying these little side turrets on this tank. Once again, sometimes it gets me killed, but now one thing I usually try to do when I'm fighting the second boss is try to finish it off during that part right there with the needles, because I've gotten pretty good at navigating my way through that needle pattern. But it's that other pattern with the pink and blue bullets that burst out that's usually okay early on in the boss fight when he's shooting it slow. But when you piss the boss off and it gets into that last little stretch, that thing bursts out really fast, and sometimes it gets me. Now this level is really fun too. I like blowing up these big ships. And a lot of this level really makes the finding the bees fairly easy because you just blow up the big ships. Now this guy here always kind of gives me trouble. It's completely random. These bursts of purple bullets there, those lavender bullets. And 9 times out of 10, I'm okay. 9 times out of 10, I'm quite alright. But every so often, I just get a bad pattern, and it gets me. And I like going through all this, destroying these ships and stuff, destroying the little turrets and everything. Got the bomb pickup there. I don't think I've bombed yet here. I'm still getting the maximum bonus. Looks like I have ×3 max here. I'll probably be bombing pretty soon here because when we get to these legions of green ships, that's when I really start running into trouble here. This is probably one of the more fun sequences in this level though. Kind of trying to navigate through these sort of needle bullets and blow up the bigger ships to kind of clear the screen. I do run into trouble there. There we go. First bomb, I think. This sequence is really fun too. It can get a little crazy. But destroying all the little parts of the ship, this is always really fun. Now, like I said, I don't really play for score. I'm not really playing for score at this point. And I'm definitely not going for the second loop here. But if I do ever end up going for the second loop, it's probably gonna be through bee collecting. Because you can get to the second loop through, as far as I know, bee collecting, getting a certain amount of combo score, or having a certain amount of points by the time you get to the end of the first loop. I really enjoy the bee collecting system in this game, so that's probably the route I'm going to be taking. Now, I really love this boss. This might actually be my favorite boss fight in the game, if I had to choose offhand. I don't know, I just love destroying all these different parts of the ship. The one thing that I really get annoyed with, though, is destroying this middle portion. It just takes so long. And it's not that it's incredibly difficult, but I mean, honestly, I kind of start to get bored sometimes in this last portion. Just because it just takes so much damage. Man, really cutting it close there. Yeah, so like I said, playing the game so far, I've never really been able to wrap my head around the combo system. I mean, I understand how it works, but you gotta be very exact. And I don't have the skills to pull it off. And honestly, I don't know if it's a system I have too much fun with, at least not at the skill level that I'm at. But one thing that I really love in video games is treasure hunting. I love the treasure hunting aspect of video games. And honestly, shooting games is not really a genre that you would think to have a big treasure hunting aspect like that, right? You know, I'm thinking of RPGs and stuff. When I play an RPG, I really like to hunt for treasure, you know? That's usually my priority when I play, you know, JRPGs and stuff like that. But a shooting game, you wouldn't really ever think of it as having a treasure hunting aspect, but the finding the hidden bees and collecting the hidden bees in the DoDonPachi games, it's kind of a little treasure hunting type mission. It's around here though that I have kind of a hard time getting all the bees, but like I said, if I think I'm gonna go for a 2-all, or if I'm gonna get real crazy and try to hunt down Hibachi, the real true last boss, I think my best gateway into the second loop is gonna be those bees. Now this is also a really fun stage. This really challenges you as far as you're not gonna go around a lot of these patterns. It really forces you to have to go through them. This is probably one of the levels that really gave me a lot of my training as far as being able to navigate. Ooh, okay, that was just pure luck right there. That I'm just gonna fess up to that. But this really, playing this level really got me good at kind of just navigating through these, I mean, almost seemingly impossible patterns. Oof. Oh, okay, again, that was pure luck, but I mean, hey, sometimes luck is part of the game. What can I say? But yeah, I probably should have died right there. Now, this is also a really fun boss. This boss always tripped me out. This really messed with me. First couple times I played this, how it would just come straight down to the bottom of your screen and get right up in your face like this. Ooh, that was real close. This is also getting real hairy here. So I'm playing CL here. For the longest time, I was very much maining CS type 3 ship shot type, and it's fun. I really like the crowd control of the CS, but man, I don't know. The crowd control of CL is also incredibly strong, and you really need that powered up laser. It's really crucial. Now here we are into stage 5, the Hall of Hell, and here's when I'm gonna. There we go. There's first death. This is when I really start having some trouble, and I really start using those bombs a whole heck of a lot more. Once again, this is another level that's gonna, for anybody who's not too experienced with this is sort of a good training ground through really learning how to navigate through some pretty crowded bullet patterns here. And honestly, even I can't navigate through a lot of these. You're going to see a lot of bombing coming up here. Yeah, this is when the game really starts to give me trouble. Sometimes you just got to challenge yourself, though. Just try to find those pathways. Find your pathway to safety. But honestly, sometimes you just gotta bomb. That's what they're there for. And I certainly, oh, messed it up there. But I certainly get pretty liberal here with the bombs here in this last portion. But that is kind of what you stock up for. I really hate this part. I have a lot of trouble here with this part. Man, see, that was probably the big screw up of this run. I lost about what was it, 5 bombs there? 4 or 5 bombs there? I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, that was a big misstep. I'm always amused by the just big pack of bees there at the end of this level. It's kind of funny. It's like the level designers just kind of said screw it. Yeah, so this boss I really kind of bombed my way through here. Then again, at this point, I really haven't fought this boss that many times, honestly, at this point, because I don't always make it this far. Of course, I'm also the type who, I mean, if I know I'm having a bad run, I'll just restart. I won't always finish a run. If I have a stupid death too early on and I feel like it's just not worth it, I'm going to just restart. All right, now here we go, final level. Now this level, I haven't, even at this point, I have not played that many times. During this run, this is probably maybe the 5th or 6th time at the most I've even seen this level. So I really haven't had a good chance to learn the level too well. So once again, you're going to be seeing a lot of bombing. Also, I should say, too, I should say I'm very much a auto fire user. I'm using auto fire here. I don't know, maybe people can comment if you consider that kind of cheating. I don't know. But honestly, with the controller I use is incredibly difficult on the thumbs. The buttons really hurt the thumbs after a while. And so using the regular shot by just tapping it, I can't do it. Now, if at some point I'm able to get a hold of a nice arcade stick or something like that, that might change, but this controller I'm using currently, I gotta have auto fire. Here we got these bee enemies showing up. In a lot of ways, now that I'm looking at it, in a lot of ways, some of these portions of level 6 are a little more doable than some of that chaos, some of that absolute mess in level 5. But I guess that is why they call it the Hall of Hell. Once again, I do apologize for the lack of sound. It really kind of It takes away from the whole experience. But it is what it is. So final boss. Now this is a bomb fest here because, as I said, I've probably been to this level maybe 5 or 6 times at the most at this point. And this boss, this is probably the 3rd time I fought this boss. So I do the best I can. I do some dodging there, but for the most part, it's bombs away. It's alright though, I'm playing the game a little bit with him there, a little bit, but yeah, from this point on, I'm in full emergency mode. And I'll tell you what, it really gets down to the wire. And that's just ridiculous. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to learn some of these patterns. Like the super players. That was ridiculously close. I have to say though, my adrenaline was pumping so hard at that point. I couldn't even believe I made it. And here we got our old boy, Colonel Schwarlitzer, something like that. I can't think of his name now. This evil guy who tricks you into killing your own people or something, I guess. I have to say I've never been able to really make sense of the plot of this game series for the most part. But anyway, that was my 1cc run. Hopefully this wasn't too boring. And I don't know what I'm going to go for next. Maybe one of these days I'm going to go for that 2-all, maybe Hibachi. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless.